G'day to everyone watching. Jack Stewart here. Today we're in automation to see if we can make my interpretation of what the next Australian built Holden Commodore would look like if produced in 2020. That's excluding the non-Australian designed ZB Commodore. So this car would precede the 2017 VF Commodore. Now if you don't know of or have heard of the Australian Commodore, just look it up. They're an absolute Aussie masterpiece. To start, I wanted to work with a body design similar to the VF and work on the body shapes and all that and tweak it from there, as the VF is an already fantastic looking car. We will go with some of the more basic structure for the car, give it some good suspension, help with handling, some multi-link and double wishbone front and rear. Now for the motor, by this stage, now that Holden and I would say that GM have split, I would like to go for an Australian built motor separate from the GM division. So HMD standing for the Holden Motor Division. We're still going to stick with the LS badge, but with the H on the end for representing Australia's new Holden motor. Of course, you couldn't have a Commodore without putting a V8 into it. Cast iron heads. We're going to push this motor up to a 7.4 litre, so quite a large motor. Being Australia's first motor, I thought it would be best to go out with lots of power, lots of torque, and just have a large motor inside. Push rods, obviously LS's always run with push rods, give it a lot more torque. Apart from that, we're going to go heavy forged steel, and go for some forged pistons. Go a high compression ratio, slightly up the cam, no VVT. Going to go naturally aspirated. Want to see what this motor can do, what it can push out without any assistance. Direct injection per cylinder. Of course we're going to go performance. It's any Commodore's a performance vehicle. Tubular headers, dual exhaust. We want this to produce a nice note, so we're only going to have a second muffler. Let's have a listen to it. Nice lumpy V8. Just under 500 horsepower, 700 newton meters of torque. Based on the LSX motor with twins, just to give it that little power in its naturally aspirated form. As for the body, my idea was keep the body like the VF Commodore, change it slightly. I'm going to give it a slightly more of a fastback design, still keeping with the sedan theme, four-door sedan, and wanting to keep it relatively stock Holden look, but I'm going to add a few features to give it more, slightly a HSV style, Holden Special Vehicle style look as well. The idea for this is it's going to be a special vehicle, something that I've always wanted to see, a supercars special release, so you can, it's a HSV high-end vehicle that's based on a V8 supercar that's road legal. So this is my thoughts and designs on how that might look. We're going to go to a bit of a time lapse here as I finish off all the fixtures, and I will see you guys at the end. Well, here we are with the exported Commodore into BeamNG Drive. This lovely Australian map called Mount Glorious. Perfect place to test an Australian car. As you can see, the car design came out pretty well in the export. It's a good mix between what looks like a HSV, a standard Commodore, and with a few little aspects which might represent a V8 supercar. It's a nice front splitter, white rims, and that HSV grille. Still got a few standard features from the VF, just updated to suit more of the modern era. Let's see how this car handles, drives, and throw it through its paces down the mountain. It's got nice acceleration. Seems to handle pretty well through these high-speed corners. Seems to hold its line pretty well. Doesn't have oversteer's pretty good. See what it's like understeering into here. Brakes are really good. Nicely through that corner. Beautiful map this. It's really well detailed. Very accurate description of a lot of spurs and windy roads throughout Australia. I highly recommend this map. Anyone who wants to experience what some Australian roads are like through this game. A little bit of oversteer through the really tight corners. This car sounds beautiful, drives really nice and smooth power throughout. It's got some really good advantages with some of your naturally aspirated vehicles. Apex in the corner nicely, drives that nicely, no wheel spin through throttle. There we go. There's a comparison between one of the other cars that I've made. This is a standard VF Commodore, or as close as I could get it. So what you think, 2017 VF to what I think I'll be calling a VF Series 3 for this new car. I'm not sure whether it would go to another name, being a similar body style. As you can see, it's not a lot of difference. Same rear wings, different rear lights, slightly different in the rear. More of a fastback style for the new VF. Much more aggressive look. Most of the changes to the front of the car, much more aggressive at the front. What do you guys think? Would you be happy to see this as a next Commodore? Give this video a like, subscribe, and tell me what you think in the comments of this new car. Cheers.